What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Joust tier list for Smite 2. And here we are. So yes, we're doing another Smite tier list for Joust, and this is for open beta 15. It's been a lot of new changes, specifically with the change of anti-heal and all these new items and stuff like that for open beta 15, that I thought I'd go ahead and do an update on this. There's been new gods too. I don't know if I already said this. We got 4 new gods here. This right here, for you guys who are joining now, I guess, I do tier lists based on the previous one. So the previous one for open beta 10, I believe, this was the outcome of where I ranked them all. And then so from there, we're going to go top to bottom to see where they are now, currently in open beta 15. And that's the general process I go through. We have broken. There isn't bans in Joust. Hopefully they come soon. Holy fish paste. But yeah, so they don't have bans in Joust yet, so we kind of put broken here. But overall, this would be like gods that you would normally consider bans, like your top bans priority if there were. After that, we got S tier, which is top picks, A+ above average, A for average, and then B for below average. I think we're getting to a point where there's enough gods for me to go ahead and add like a C tier. The reason I only go to these tiers or these 5 tiers is because there are not a lot of gods yet, or there weren't a lot of gods, but now we're starting to get more in there, which means that we can kind of, scatter them out a little bit more. I think I'm going to start doing that once we get a couple more gods in here. But for right now, we're going to do the same old type of tier list. I think that's basically everything. There isn't Cupid in here. For some reason, they didn't add, I was looking for Cupid. There's no Cupid here. I didn't misplace him or whatever. For whatever reason, there isn't Cupid. I don't know why. If you look down here, Cupid's down here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at the end, rank Cupid. He's still really fucking good, obviously. So you'll eventually see him. He might look a little weird because I'm gonna insert him. I'm gonna insert him through editing. So, but we'll talk about him at the end if I remember. But real quickly, he's still pretty good, so I'd probably put him in S. But anyways, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get these gods at the end. If you'd like, at the end I do a comparison between the two from open beta 15 and open beta 10. If you want to skip there and just look at all of them, rather than going over my actual thought process here. All right. So before, in open beta 10, I believe, Apollo was absolutely gross, busted, the most broken character in game. One of the most broken releases for Joust specifically. So he was definitely in that broken tier. I will say though, through the changes, he got nerfed a little bit. I don't think he's necessarily broken. I'm going to go ahead and drop him down to S. And this is specifically for his aspect build. If you don't know, in his aspect build, you can build a lot of health, and it synergizes with your 1. And then on top of that, you can build an item like Aerospo, and it's really good in Joust, obviously, being able to heal your teammates, the amount you can heal with each auto. So you can literally have everything. You have decent damage, you're tanky, and you support your teammates, which in Joust is really, really good. His ult's even better now, allowing your entire team to go inside of it and going wherever the hell you want. So I still believe he is an S tier pick. If you pick him, he's going to be really good. Not as much as he was before, but I mean, S tier is still pretty fucking good. So I'm going to drop him down to S. I think they're going to be a little bit, I don't know who I'd put in here yet. I guess once we get there, we'll figure it out. And actually, Aphrodite. Honestly, I think she's broken. Now there might be a couple more here. If you don't know, Aphrodite is like one of those gods that came over from Smite 1 to Smite 2 that just does everything as well, similar to Apollo. She does decent damage if you build her well. I mean, if you build her full tank, you could build like a Chronos Pendant and do whatever the hell you want. But on top of that, actually, if we go to items here, yes, change. We look at items here, go to tier 3. There is one specific item that makes her really fucking good, and if you can join it with another item, it can be even better. Recently, they nerfed all the healing for her, though. She was one of the obviously best healers. Being able to use her 3 without much consequence and immediately healing yourself and an ally made it to where they cut her healing, I believe, in half or even more. I think like 60%, something like that. But she's still very good and heals a lot. And there's no anti-heal in the game, so whatever she heals is what she's healing. Let's see if I can find the item here. Where is it at? No, not Vital Amplifier. Well, I guess we can take a look at Mirrodin. Mirrodin is another item that she can use pretty well. Not used a lot, but you can use, like, it's sort of gimmicky in a way, but still pretty good. Basically, your next non-ultimate cooldown use will have no cooldown. If you use that before you use your 3, then you have 3 uses, or 2 uses of your 3. And then on top of that, is it this one? Yes. Yes, there it is. I'm getting used to the items still, what they look like. Heart Ward Charm. Got some max health, mana, cooldown, and then it's passive. Your healing abilities have 20% reduced cooldowns, and each cast reduces this item's active cooldown by 10. Your next non-ultimate healing ability will have no cooldown, but deals 50% reduced damage. Who cares? You can theoretically get 4 uses of your 3 in one go. If you don't know, in her ultimate, you can use your 3 and then ult and then use your 3 again. So, you can basically just reset your cooldowns is essentially what it is. So what you can do here is you can use your 3 or use your Mirrodin, use your 3 again. Then you can use Heart Ward Charm, use your 3 again, ult, and then use your 3 one extra time. You can use her ult 4 times. With not anti-heal being in the game, I know, I do understand that the healing is reduced. She can absolutely, and I think I might make a video on it because it's so broken. I just think that her overall self is just so broken. Yeah, she's gonna be in the broken tier. She can do anything she wants. She does damage, heals your teammates, supports your teammates, has decent CC, you can save your teammate with your ult. She actually kind of makes the game unfun, I'm not gonna lie. So if like we had bans, she'd be like one of the main ones I'd ban. Anyways, on to Medusa. I think she's probably gonna stay in your top picks. Nothing's really changed with her, which is why she's still here. She still has her ult, very good getaway. Her 3, again, CC immunity in her ult. She does a lot of damage. Her 1, her 2 does decent damage, and she just is really good ADC to synergize with on your team. So I think she's just gonna stay in S as your top pick. All right, next up we got Sobek, going right to broken. He was already on the cusp of being broken, and you can make an argument for being broken. I think another thing I do here is, when I do these tier lists, is that I like to say you can make an argument for specific tier lists. You can make an argument between broken and S tier for a lot of these gods, at least generally speaking. Not currently, these, I haven't changed these yet, but you know, the idea that you can sort of, I can see an argument for changing the tiers on gods is sort of the process that I have. Anyways, with Sobek, he already did everything. He did so much damage in his 3 and his 2. He had great CC setup, everything, good getaway. His ult, CC immunity, can go under walls, man-made walls or whatever, like Ymir, Kabrakan. CC immunity with that, and then you have a lot of damage in it. But not only do you have a lot of damage, you have execute, which, why we added that to him, I don't know. I still don't think that's good. Like, no, it's like OP, but I don't think it's good to have this kit. Whatever, it's in the game. It's very good, and it is fun sometimes, I will say. But it's beyond fucking broken. The reason he isn't broken right now is due to some items that have been added to the game. At least currently in Open Beta 15. Sanguine. Where's Sanguine? Here it is. Sanguine Lash. This item is really fucking good. It costs a lot, but it's so fucking worth it. You pair this with a Mystical Mail, and this is for tanks in general. That's so fucking good. So now if you add Mystical Mail and Sanguine Lash, you get both of each protection, physical and magical, so you can, it's very good as well to synergize these together. But you just stand near enemies and you do so much damage. With the active of Sanguine Lash even doing even more damage, up to 3 charges you can hold. He just has absolutely ridiculous amount of damage. The amount of times that I played Sobek, or I played with my friend who plays Sobek, and they get top damage without even doing anything, is absolutely absurd. So he's going to go unbroken. If you want to win games, you play Sobek, and if you want to be even more annoying and whatnot, you go Sanguine and Mystical Mail. It's absolutely broken. And that goes for most characters, most like tank hybrid characters. Cabrakan. I think Cabrakan... where do I put this guy? He's definitely not broken. I'm gonna keep him in S, but I can see he's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna keep him in S. I played up against him a couple times with the I can't actually, now that I think about it, no, I can't. He has to stay in S because of the items that have changed how tanks are. Specifically the ones that like have like traditional tanks, I guess, in a way. I mean, Cabrakan isn't necessarily a traditional tank, but has like aspects of a traditional tank with like a lot of CC and shit. But he has a lot of damage as well. You again, you do like Sanguine Curse or Sanguine Lash and Mystical Mail, and he just does all the damage in the world. I got up against a couple of Cabrakans, and he had top damage at the end of the game, like 30,000 damage, which was absurd. And he built hybrid with those items. So, but yeah, I mean, he has a lot of abilities. His 1, and he has 2 charges of his 2, depending on if you get damage. His 3, and then another part of his 3, and his ult. So it's he only has technically 4 ability slots, but he has 6 in my eyes, because the amount of damage you can do with all that and extra stuff. So he also has really good CC. So, and he has a wall of trap, so it allows other, the enemy team to force pick up a shell if they need to, or something like that. So he's definitely one of your top tanks, in my opinion. Agni. Yeah, I'd leave Agni here. His DPS is really good. His aspect is really good as well. I think his aspect has more DPS. It just depends on what you really want when you play Agni. Good getaway. A lot of items that synergize with his ult, like World Stone. You can go like Chronos Pendant, and you can have your ult up all the time. So he's gonna stay in S here. Achilles, I'm actually bringing down to A+. He had gotten buffs and a lot of buffs recently, but I don't think it's nearly as good as I thought it would be. I've been playing Achilles, I've been seeing Achilles. He can still get shit done. I think he's really solid, but I don't think he's quite S. He still has his execute, but not anywhere near to like a Sobek execute. You actually have to aim to hit your execute. So I'd put him in above average. Princess Bari is going to go here. In my opinion, she could honestly be broken. She'd be one of the gods that I'd probably ban. But I'm not going to put her there because I don't think she's as broken as like Sobek or Afra, in my opinion. But she has an ult. Like if I were to rank these, she'd be like top S. Her ult does so much damage. It saves the biggest thing is it saves you and your team. It basically gives you an Aegis, which is disgusting as fuck when you get really low. She does a lot of damage. Her passive allows her to get off a lot of abilities. If you stack up your whatever the thing is called, I don't remember which. She doesn't have a mana bar. She has like a different type of thing. If you stack it up enough, you can get like multiple abilities, and she does so much damage, has so much burst, has surprisingly good getaway with her 3, and then obviously, like I said, her ult is absolutely disgusting. So she is absolutely staying in S. All right, next up we have Baron. He's staying here as well. Baron is surprisingly good, especially with specifically his aspect. I don't think people understand how good his aspect is, specifically when you go damage. His tank version is not as good, I don't think, but still very good. And I think he's in a place now where Hi-Rez has buffed him enough to warrant this S tier pick. And I played him since I put him in here in open beta 10, and he's so fucking good, dude. He's so good. You can do so many things with him too. So if you want to go tanky with him and like more of a support, you can do that. Or if you want to go like aspect Baron, he's very good as well. Mordred, I think Mordred's still very good, but I'm gonna put him in A. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in A+. I still think you can go the Sanguine Mystical Mail with him, and it's still very good. I don't see his presence as much. Like when I go up against him and I play him, he's very good, but he's still, I don't know. I don't feel like he's as potent as he once was before all the changes from like anti-heal and the new things have been added up until that point, up until this point, I mean. So I'd say he's still very good. Top A+ in my opinion. Ares S. His boy's back in S. Again, Sanguine, Lash, and Mystical synergize really well with Ares. His passive doesn't do the exact same thing as it once did in Smite 1, where you had auras. But I mean, still, you know, he scales off of protections as well as cooldown, I believe. Or no, wait. Yeah, protections, and I believe... Actually, you know what? Why don't we just go ahead and look at Ares's new passive now, because I know they changed it, and I believe it's off of protections and cooldown, no? Build protections to increase strength aura, build cooldown rate to increase intelligence aura. That's what it was, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you kind of build those things anyways, but Sanguine Lash, Mystical Mail, and his overall damage, you can literally one-shot. You absolutely destroy tanks. I think the only thing that doesn't make him as good is that you have to hit your chains, but if you do, he literally easily gets top damage. Not to mention his ult is, you know, really good. Grabbing all three team or enemy team to grab him in with his chains, like always with his stupid ult. And then you have his aspect, which isn't as good, but I think for Joust at least, his aspect is pretty solid if you wanted to go like a solo lane Ares or something. It allows you to get that stun off. It's a more selfish aspect, so if you wanted to do that, you can definitely be more selfish and get, you know, the type of gains you would with that, you know, securing like a chain if you want to with your 2 in your aspect form, especially now that they added the feather thing, allowing you to jump forward. So if you use your 2, jump forward, auto, immediately secure your chains, that's also very good too. I don't think it's as good, but it's still very good. Not to mention, so he's very, very good. I always called him the anti-meta counter because the anti-meta god, because he counters a lot of the meta stuff. And you can see that he pretty much does for the most part. He has like the ability to cripple, use ults to get like either their beads or you know, their what's the word? CC immune ults. So like if you wanted to ult Baron, he'd have to either use his beads or his ult. Agni doesn't have a CC immunity in his ult. Same with Kabrakan. So he does have that ability to be an anti-meta god, and currently he's very strong with the items. So, you know, he's an S. Cerberus I'm going to keep here. I think he also takes advantage of the Sanguine and Mystical. I'm going to be saying not a lot here. But he's still very good. His 2, I mean, he kind of plays for himself. His 2 and his 1 are very, very simple. I don't think his aspect is necessarily as good as his regular kit non-aspect, because Joust, I think, necessitates his ult better, being able to grab them and put them somewhere instead of just knocking them up with his aspect. So I think Cerberus is still very good. I think he's better with his non-aspect. But I would still go the Sanguine, Mystical. Yogi's Mask is really good as well on a lot of these tanks, not just Cerberus, but they forgot to change Yogi's Mask, or maybe they did and I just didn't see it in like a hot fix or whatever. But Yogi's Mask is very good. There's no more anti-heal, and so that's very good on him as well. So I'm gonna keep him in A+. Ama. I almost think Ama is S, and I'm gonna put him there. Her there. Amaterasu is S. And yeah, again, if you don't know, let's go to items here. There's been so many items that she just synergizes well with, and I think specifically her non-aspect is better. And I'll tell you why here. Vital Amplifier is a very good item. Specifically with her too, she can get all of her stacks pretty easily with this. If you wanted to go, this is sort of like a hybrid-ish type item with your max health and HP 5, but you get some attack speed as well as some intelligence, which is really, really good. With her 1, you can obviously stack this up really easily. I don't think this is the best item that she uses, but it's very good, and you can go on her like every single time. Regrowth Striders is another item that's extremely good on her. I think that you almost build every single time on her, on your non-aspect. If you're using aspect, don't use any of these items because she doesn't heal anymore. But in her non-aspect, Regrowth Striders gives her prots, MP5, cooldown, and then when you heal yourself from an ability, you gain 35% movement speed. And if you don't already know what Ama does in her 1, she gives herself movement speed. So she's giving herself movement speed, even more movement speed. And then on top of that, it has another passive where you get 5% of your health over 10 seconds. Well, you're already healing yourself. This is like an Ama item, I feel like. As much as this item's like a Herg item too, Amma uses this item so well. So I think that item, Vital Amplifier, I'm not missing any other items, am I? I don't think so. She still uses like Sanguine Last Mystical Mail really well because she can stand around you pretty easily and just mess with you because she has a lot of movement speed. But Vital Amplifier and Rego Shredders, I think, pushes her up to S. And I think she's very, very good with not having anti-heal anymore in the game. Rego Shredders is so good on her. So she's S. Neath, I'm going to keep an A+. I don't think she's nearly as good in Joust as she is in Conquest as like a mid. But she's still very good with her non-aspect full damage build. And then her aspect ADC builds is solid too. But I mean, she's kind of just like your go-to pretty easy, simple hunter or ADC. I do think that her full damage build is better. I mean, her 3 being decent getaway, her 1, 2 doing solid damage, and her 2 actually giving her some healing, which could, you know, be very good, like building like a Vital Amplifier if you wanted to go like a regular ADC build, if you wanted to. But her ult is very good as well, so I think she's just like a solid above average ADC. Aladdin, I'm going to keep here as well. I mean, I don't think much can change with Aladdin unless they buff him to make him go below above average. No, wait, I said that wrong. I don't think there's much that can change Aladdin via going downwards unless they nerf his kit significantly. I mean, they're struggling nerfing him and changing him. You'll see how many nerfs and stuff go to his 1 or changes that go to his ult. They struggle trying to make this balanced, but overall, I mean, he has the damage, he has the CC immune ult, has the ability to use all of his abilities again and respawn. He has an extremely high skill ceiling, so you know, depending on who's playing this guy could be broken or it could be completely dog shit. So it really depends who the player is, but overall, the god is really, really good. He has all of the movement speed in the world, all of the getaway abilities in the world with your 3, 2, and then you safe with your ult. So he's gonna stand above average in my opinion. Same with Geb. He can kind of go that solo build or go full support, either or. You know, the solo type build would be more of your aspect build. I don't think it's as good for Joust. I think his regular non-aspect is better just because he helps his team more with that. His 3 is super good. It cleanses. I mean, yeah, he does solid damage as well. Good getaway. Overall, an above average god. Artemis is going to stay here. You'll notice that a lot of these gods are going to stay the same, except a couple here and there. That's what's going to probably happen here. Artemis. Yeah, pretty much the same too. CC immune ult 3, 2, pretty good. Her 1, being crippled. Or having a cripple is super good as well. Her aspect isn't as good. I don't believe in Joust. Actually, a lot of these aspects don't seem as nearly as good, except a couple here and there. But she's gonna stay in average, above average too. Hecate hasn't much changed with her, and it seems that like a lot of mages, like traditional mages, haven't really changed much. I feel as though. So Hecate with her ult, you know, very good as well. Her 3. I mean, if you're going up against a magical team, her 3 can be very good. You can kind of go her a support type build as well if you wanted to. I don't think it's nearly as good as like a regular Hecate build, like pure damage and stuff like that. But I mean, she some of her problems that I think she has, similarly to like an Artemis that I didn't point out, is that she can be very easy to, you know, pick. Unless you like are really good at that specific character. Like you can play Artemis and use her 1 traps to sort of peel for yourself, and her 2 movement speed, but they don't traditionally have like really solid getaways. So she's gonna stay in above average. Same with Vulcan. He can get caught out too, but his 3 and his 1 and his turret do all crazy amount of damage. And I actually like his a lot of his new it's not really new, it's been in the game for a while, but the mods that he has, which allows you to go all different types of things. Like you can go into Vulcan Vulcan aspect and be tanky and be very good and do a lot of damage to squishies as well. If you go like a hybrid cooldown based build, you can actually get some shit done there as a tank. But his aspect is obviously very good. You can one shot with his ult too as well once you get later in the game. Overall pretty solid, but you can still get caught out. Soul's gonna stay here as well. Will she? Yeah, no, she's super good right now. I think she utilizes some good items too, like Gluttonous Grimoire. If you go like sort of like an ADC build, or sorry, Lifesteal ADC or Lifesteal full damage type of build. You can pair that with like Poly and stuff like that. And then her ability on aspect as well is super good too. You can go like a regular ADC build with like your strength based ADC build. You can also go like intelligence ADC build, which is very good too. So I think overall she can go any type of build and she's super good. Her 3 is very good to get away. Usually as a getaway. Her ult has CC immunity, which is very good. So I think overall she's going to be like your above average. You can play her in any team with any type of build, non-aspect or aspect, and she'll do a lot of damage and be very good. All right, same with Raw. I think his non-aspect is better. His aspect form is okay if you want to go support, but not nearly as much as it was before when it was broken. But he's your traditional type of mage that you can kind of go into any team comp and be very good. Healing is solid now, specifically with a lot of the new items as well. You can kind of pair that up with him. So his 3 now counts as like a healing item or a healing ability. So you could use like regrowth striders to technically to get this little buff and stuff like that. I mean, technically you go vital amplifier. If you go like a vital amplifier ADC like tank type of build, could be pretty good as well. Yeah, I think, is there any other items? I feel like I'm missing an item. Yeah, that's not really that great. So yeah, I mean, he uses a lot of the new items well too, and you can make some. There's a lot of things you can do with Raw in regards to his build. You can, like I said, you can go like tanky auto attack build with like vital amplifier if you wanted to, and like other items that give you attacks like berserkers or whatever, and use your 2 to like, you know, hit them a lot pretty fast. So there's a lot of things you can do. You can go like a regular Raw build and be very good too. So I think he's still gonna stay here. I don't think he utilizes the items so much to put him up a tier though. Rama is gonna stay here as well. I think he's an underrated ADC in both forms, as non-aspect and aspect. He does a lot of damage, and his aspect allows him to hit arrows, hit your autos really easily. Super safe with his 3 and his ult. I've already explained it before, but you can kind of use your ult, go up in the air, stay up there long enough, use your 3 and get away. So I think overall he's going to be like your A+ ADC. Ullr's going to go up to S. Ullr has been doing tremendous, especially with the new items now. He was already good before, but specifically with items like Barb Carver, which is really good. This allows you to have 3 stacks. Your abilities and autos do a bonus 8%, and with him, you know that he spams out abilities, so it's not hard to get up to 24% or 3 stacks of this, which is very good on him. So that new item is going to be really good for him. But even just the traditional burst build is very good, and you can see that in Conquest if you've noticed. But overall, he's a super high skill ceiling god. You have to hit your abilities, and a lot of his abilities are very thin or like very small circles. That is a little bit harder for new players, or not, you know, the best players to hit. So he kind of stays around this area, but depending on the meta, he'll go up if he's doing a lot of damage, and it overcompensates for the fact that he's a little bit harder to play. So currently I think he's an S. Bacchus will, I don't think it ever change, man. I always say this. He is so good. He has everything that you would need. He has damage, CC, getaway, a good ult, good chug with his 1, allows him to get some stats and stuff like that. His aspect isn't nearly as good for Joust, but because he has chug and it heals you, you can go like Rego Striders now. I mean, I guess if you wanted to go like aspect, you could do like vital amplifier, I suppose. It's not nearly as good, but you know, regrowth strategies is very good on him. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. But again, Sanguine Lash and Mystical Mail gonna be very good on him. So he's gonna stay in A plus. Chalk's gonna stay in A plus as well. He uses Mystical and Sanguine Lash really well as well. But overall, I think he does a significant amount of damage, has good cooldown, relatively safe with his ult and being CC immunity. He just fits that role well as that like bruiser hybrid warrior that also synergizes with his team really well. So he's gonna stay here. Hercules is gonna go to S. I think Hercules is finally super awesome, super good. They actually had to nerf him a little bit because he was doing too well, but I still think he's extremely good. He uses regrowth strategies really well. Mystical and Sanguine Lash extremely well. I think these items are specifically like regrowth strategies is like a Herc item just as much as it is like an Amaterasu item. Well, no, more than I think regrowth strategies is more of a Herc item than it is an Ama item. But I still think Ama uses this item. You can go this on Ama like all the time. But I think regrowth strategies is a staple on Hercules. And you obviously go Sanguine, Mystical Mail. It just makes it to where he just stands next to him and kills them on top of the damage that he already does. And you don't even need to build that much damage to be fair. I think items like that are super underrated in my opinion and really good in Joust, like Shield Splitter have recently got buffed too, so it makes his hybrid or full damage that much better. Overall, he's just so good. There's so many items here that he can use. That's like really good. Breastplate is good on him now too, wherever that item is. When you lose 500 health, your ability cooldowns are reduced. 25% of stealth healing from your items also contributes towards lost health. So, you know, there you go. Very good there as well. Yeah, he's just so good right now. So he's gonna be an S. All right, now we have Cuckoo. So much similar to Ra that he can. I mean, Ra has more variability in his build. Cuckoo Khan doesn't. He sort of goes that same like mana Book of Thoth poly build that he goes. But he's gonna be your mage's mage. Like he's just gonna do everything that you want as a mage. High burst damage with his ult, secure. His 3's good for clear and does solid damage. His 1 on a short cooldown does a lot of burst damage, and then his 2, you know, messing with his 3 or interacting with his 3 allows him to go super fast out. They added the fact that you still gain the movement speed afterwards, which is very good on him. So he's gonna be you can go this god like every single game and you'd be good to go. Ymir's gonna stay here as well. He's one of your traditional mages that you know, actually does a pretty good amount of damage. I mean, you slow with your 2, does a decent amount of damage. You freeze, the longest freeze in the world, always feels like. And then his ult slows down, or slows the enemy down, and also brings him into circle and does a lot of burst damage as well. So, I mean, he kind of does what you want as a tank. Zeus, Zeus has this issue where he always gets caught out, and as well he's a little bit harder to position if you're just like a new player. I see people who play Zeus who don't play him well get out of position and then just die. So I think that's a problem, but overall Zeus does a tremendous amount of damage. You can go ADC, you can go full damage. It just depends on who's playing Zeus, and I think yeah, I think that's just basically it. With that, I think he's still going to stay above average. Nothing really changes too much. A lot of these mages don't really change, I'm going to be honest, unless there's like a mage overhaul. Anubis. Wow, yeah, Anubis changed a lot. Not having Typhon's Fang and it now being Typhon's Heart. I'm going to be honest. I don't think much changes with him either. With the fact that he doesn't heat or lifesteal as much, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, you don't have to that amount of lifesteal you're getting, you're always gonna get. And I played up against a couple of Anubises after the fact, after the lifesteal and healing changes, and he still heals a fuck ton. I don't think much changes with him. I think he's still gonna be an A+. He still has his issues of potentially getting out of position because it doesn't have a movement speed or getaway ability. But I think overall, with what they did with him in Smite 2, adding damage to his ult, you know, changing his 1 speed is very good. So I think he's going to stay A+. He just does a lot. Merlin, I'm going to bring to S. I think Merlin is one of your best mages. I think his initial start is a little bit tricky because, you know, he doesn't have a lot of damage. He doesn't have as much cooldown. But once you started getting to that late game, that's when he started popping off. And I think recently it's becoming like a mid-game thing. Once you get to mid-game, you're like really good to go, specifically with his aspect. His aspect is absolutely gross. It's a thing you have to get used to. You have to look at your abilities a lot, but once you play his aspect and you start to get used to it, it's like you don't need to go the regular. I think his aspect is legitimately just better than his regular kit. His ult or his aspect randomizes everything, which can be a little tricky. But like I said, once you learn it, it's so fucking good because you can have 2 fire stances or like the fire beam or whatever. I can't remember the name of it's called, but it does. It's really good. And his aspect also decreases his cooldown on his ult, so you can literally spam his ult and you buy items like Chronos Pendant or like World Stone and make it even shorter, so you can literally just spam out. So I think Merlin is S tier. I think his high potential towards the end game has made its way into like the mid game, and I think you can really do what he does a lot quicker with his aspect. So I think he's definitely S pick. Odin, I'm gonna bring up to S as well. He does a lot of damage, but specifically with Sanguine Lash and Mystical Mail using your ult, he does absolutely disgusting numbers. Like, he does so much damage, and he did before too, and he's always been like a solid tank, an underrated tank in my opinion. But with the introduction of Sanguine Lash and Mystical Mail, I think that the way he utilizes that pushes him up to S in my opinion, man. This god he just does so much damage, even to other tanks, which is surprising. All right, starting to get down to the end of A+, we got Kali. In both forms, they're pretty much, I don't know, Kali ADC is a lot better, I think, than regular Kali. I think regular Kali I'd put in A, but because her aspect is pretty good, I'm going to put her in, I'm going to keep her here at A+, I think. Yeah, her aspect is very good. She's much a traditional ADC in her aspect, though. So, you know, you're going to have to scale a lot. So her autos, once you get some items online, are going to be smacking. But initially, you might suffer a little bit. All right, I think that's it for this. Guan Yu staying here. I think all the items that I thought were going to be good on him actually aren't that crazy. Daybreak Gavel is pretty good on him. I think it's a little expensive for what it does. But overall, I think it's really good. I mean, you get 55 strength, which is a fuck ton, and 300 health. And, you know, actually, it's not too expensive, but I don't think it's as crazy as I thought it would be for Guan Yu. I mean, you can go any of these items like Heart Ward Charm, Rego Striders. I mean, I guess if you wanted to go Vital Amplifier. Overall, I still think Guan Yu's still an A average god. I don't think much change. I think it's more of his kit than anything. Once I know they're trying to change some of these items. Like, I think they're going to try to buff Daybreak Gavel because not a lot of people really fuck with the item, or it's that good. So I think with that being said, Guan Yu's gonna stay here until they maybe change some things here. Danza's gonna go up to A+. Danza is actually really good. They recently changed, and I made a video about this. They recently changed his scaling as well as damage in his ult. So now you can go like the intelligence-based full damage build, and middle to late game you're absolutely smacking. Even early game, depending on how you play it, he absolutely smacks going like a full intelligence-based build. Otherwise, I think his ADC build is just solid, and I'd probably leave him in A. But because his intelligence-based full damage build has gone up, he's basically a mage, honestly. And this god does so much damage. You can half hit with your ult. You add like a poly as soon as you pop out, and then use your one. Oh my god, you're like one-shotting. And there's not much you can do against it unless you have like an Aegis. If you don't have your Aegis up, you're cooked. You're absolutely cooked. So I think Danza is A+ with his intelligence-based build. The Morgan's going to stay here as well. I think she's a solid god. I think she probably plays the support a little bit better with a lot of her support items. But she's pretty hard to play for most people to really capitalize on what she does best. And on top of that, her regular kit is not the greatest for Joust, I'm going to be honest. Thor. I always have trouble putting him between A and A+. Nah, I think he's A+. I actually think he's pretty solid. I'm thinking about it because of the new items like Sanguine Lash and Mystical Mail. That's really good. And then if you go Aspect Thor, it's very good as well. I mean, you can do so much damage with him being a tank, or just full damage, honestly, as well. He's super good, super safe, uses ult really well in Joust, surprisingly. Even it being a small map, it's still fairly good. I think I'm going to put him up just because of the new itemizations that he has. And overall, I think Thor is an underrated god in Joust to begin with. Yamoja's, I'm going to keep it right here. Pretty hard. She's not the hardest to play anymore, but you still have to play her. She's a little bit hard. Her tank is solid. Her regular intelligence-based build is, I think, a little underrated. I think it's actually a little bit better than people make it out to be, but that's just the amount of damage she does. She doesn't have much anything else than that. I mean, not that you would want more with that in her regular or in her aspect build anyways, but she doesn't provide all too much, I feel like. She's a little bit harder to play, like I said, and on top of that, you can just build shell, and in Joust, it's not hard to buy 3 shells, so her ult's kind of useless in a way. So I'm going to keep her in average. She definitely can get stuff done with her, but by far not the best. Izanami's going to stay here as well. She was really good at one point, but I think with the addition of new gods and stuff like that, she can kind of get countered in Joust pretty easily. And as an Izanami, being able to free cast, you're not really free casting a lot as Izanami, unless your front line is really facilitating that. So she's going to stay in average. Bologna is going to go straight up to above average, very similar to when Amma goes up. I believe Bologna goes up, and vice versa. She uses Vital Amplifier really well. Rigo Shredder is not as much, but Vital Amplifier is really good with her. You can get stuff done with her as well. And Sanguine Lash and Mystical Mail that you can go with her is very good too. But the regular 8 attack speed hybrid build that you could go with her, very good. Very, very good. And then in Conquest, you can kind of go like a jungle build. Not the greatest in Joust, I'm going to be honest. You just die. But Bologna, I think, goes up because of the itemizations that she's added here. Or that's been added here, and I think she utilizes extremely well. Fenrir's going to stay here as well. His ADC build is where you're going to probably go. Anyway, not ADC, but your attack speed build with him is probably your go-to with him. His regular kit isn't that great in Joust. It just doesn't do him enough damage. His ult can be very good too, but I don't think it's nearly as good as it was in Smite 1. With a lot of the changes, I think they reduced the movement speed and stuff like that in his ult. So I don't think it's nearly as good, but you can still get stuff done with him, given the right team and going up against the enemy as well. Because he can leap really far. Uses 3. He's a super nimble, I guess would be the word, god. He can get out, he can get in and get out, and pretty much he's a very safe god. All right, then we have Nuwa. Nuwa can be good. I think she can surprise people, but overall I think she's gonna stay in average. Her aspect build I think is a little bit better than her regular build, but they're pretty neck and neck, I'd say. So her ADC build, like if you wanted to go crit or whatever, is very good, and that's probably what I would opt into. But overall, she could very much get locked down in Joust. Kefri's gonna stay here as well. A lot of these gods are staying here. You can already tell. My God, Kefri's staying here. He can get stuff done, but not nearly as good as the other gods. He does a little bit more damage, but that's specifically what you kind of want with your tanks, is more damage. The better the damage the tanks are, the more they're going to be prevalent in Joust. And Kefri just doesn't do that much damage, but it has pretty solid CC as well as his ult. So on her is gonna stay here. He's just not very good. Like, I don't know what else to say about him. Like, then there's just other ADCs that does the job better. I mean, he's got a decent jump. His ult CC immune, but his ult leaves him open for a lot of things. And he's a tad bit harder to play than other gods at a high level. But at a high level, Anhur is pretty good. But overall, I think he's probably average. And the same thing with Kronos. There's other ADCs that do his job better. He's just not that great. And his aspect in Joust, you should never, ever go, ever in your life. If you go aspect ADC or aspect Kronos, you're trolling. Nemesis is actually pretty good. I don't think enough to be... Nah, I don't think enough to be A+. She can be very good with her aspect, and I don't think it was changed by anti-heal, I don't believe. Her shield can be very good too. She's got good getaway, but I mean, other than doing like the ult to transfer some of the health, that's as much as she's got. I mean, you can go like an ADC or like an auto attack hybrid build if you wanted to, but I mean, she just doesn't have that much presence in the game, in my opinion. So she'll stay as average though. Jingwei, other ADCs that do what she does a lot better. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Medusa, Apollo, I mean, Soul, Neith, like all these other gods just do what she does better. I think what you got is like late game Jingwei. Once you get late game, then she's actually really, really good, but late game doesn't happen a lot in Joust. Poseidon, I think he's not very safe. I think he does a lot of damage, and specifically with his aspect can get shit done with like his auto attack build, but he's not very safe. And again, the safety factor with like Ra and Cuckoo just do what Poseidon does better. And then finally Hades. Recently, I don't think he's necessarily A+, but you can definitely go some items here. Like if you wanted to go like a hybrid build, you could go like an Umbral Link, and you can make things work with that. And, you know, because this gives you protections, depending on how much you split your lifesteal, and each unique ally heal guarantees you 10 protections, and has 3 heals. So you can kind of get stuff done with the new items, but nothing too crazy. And outside of that, his kit is sort of whatever. His ult is pretty solid for Joust, but again, a lot of good gods in Joust are going to be mobile or have like CC immunity, so it's going to kind of, and then you have beads. So I think overall Hades is just not going to be that great for Joust, but you can still get stuff done with him, just like the rest of these gods. Mulan, I'm actually going to bring up to A+. I think Mulan's a little bit better. A lot of her 2 can actually proc some of these items as well, like regrowth. I believe. So I think she's a tad bit better. Being tanky as well, sanguine and mystical, it's going to make her a lot better. So I think she's A. But overall, she's not the greatest. There's other gods that do what she does better. Pele, I'm going to go up 1 too. Pele's actually been very good too in Conquest, which doesn't necessarily link over to Joust, is why she's only like an average god. But her aspect is very good. And she can use a lot of, like, every single item so good. If you wanted to go damage, you could go Barbed Carver. If you wanted to go tank, you could go Sanguine Lash and Mystical. Pair it with your 3 and does a lot of damage. So there are a lot of things you can go here. Traditional tank as well, like Glad Shield and stuff like that. You could go Shield of, or Phoenix Shield. So I think she's actually average here. Below average, Thanatos is going to stay here. Just doesn't do much. He's got his ult to kill and maybe set up a little bit, but if you're going to play him, you got to go aspect. But even in aspect form, he just doesn't do much, really. His 1 does decent damage. His 3 is a good sidewave fam silence, but I mean, there's every single god above him does what he does better. Same with Loki. I mean, you can, if you're a good Loki, you can get shit done because you know how to use your 1 and like ult setup. So maybe you could go like a Loki. Like if you're really good, you could go Loki. But other than that, he's not very good in Joust. Susano's not very good either. He does decent damage and can synergize with his ult and stuff like that, and he's really good getaway and movement speed or movement abilities. But outside of that, he just blows. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of just dies. If he gets CC'd, he just dies. Same thing with the Wheelix. So Wheelix, you can synergize her with like certain gods like Bacchus and, you know, with her ult and everything. But overall, I don't think she really has much in Joust. So she's going to stay here. She gets CC'd, she just dies. You have to get like really close as well, which sucks because in Joust you can definitely get CC'd. A 3v3 fight's not going to be the greatest for you. Hunbats, I will say I was completely wrong. I actually think he's an above average god, and in Conquest he's borderline broken, and they ban him a lot in that game mode. But yeah, Hunbats is ult I actually think is not as obviously as great as it once was, but I still think is very good. You still have a lot of time to get shit done in that ult when they're feared. His damage is still pretty good, even in his 2. And obviously everything else about him is super good. And those are the 2 things I thought were really bad about him. But as I started playing him and seeing him more, I was like, okay, hold on, he's actually not that bad. So he's going to be an A+, I think. And then finally, before we get into the new gods, Athena. Athena's staying here. She's not good. Her aspect isn't good in Joust either. She has her 2 taunt and her 3, but she just doesn't do damage very similar to Kefri. I'd rather have a Kefri than Athena, honestly. Unless you go a specific team comp with Athena that synergizes with her 2 with your team, and you're communicating with your team, I wouldn't really go Athena. And that is the tier list. Let's go ahead and go into Ganesh. Ganesh was broken at one point, and they nerfed him, so he was like broken into S. Now I think he's just above average. I think he's very good in his aspect form. His regular form is fine, but you'll want to go the aspect because that's pretty good damage. You can even go like a full damage or hybrid with Ganesh, and I still think that's better than his regular kit. His ult has a lot of potential as well in Smite, or in Joust. I mean, I always thought he was an underrated god in Smite 1 too, in Smite 1 as well. And then they added new things with Ganesha in Smite 2, so he's gonna be an A+. He's gonna be a very good god. Hoi, I'm gonna bring the S. I think Hoi's always been a good god in Joust, just because of his ricochet abilities. With his ricochet ability in his 1, with all the towers and all the different areas on the map that have small, slight corners, that you can absolutely, you don't even need any skill to get shit done with him. You can literally just throw out your 1 in a close-knit corner, and you can just immediately kill them. Especially with like in full intelligence. If you go full intelligence, you have access to quad bounce, which you could do, but even a regular build would be super solid. His ult now gives a wall, so you can bounce it off his wall. His 3 has a +1 added to where like you can move in around. So I think he's one of your top ADCs, top 3 or top 5 ADCs in Joust right now. Mercury, I think, is probably going to be an average. Mercury doesn't really have much with him in Joust. But his tank ADC, or tank attack speed build, I keep saying that. Tank attack speed build, I think, makes him an average pick. If you're going to go full damaged Mercury, unless you're playing against bums or bots, I don't think he does much there either. At all. And I'd probably put him in below average. But with the tank build, I think he's going to stay in average. And then finally, we have Scylla. Honestly, where do I put Scylla? I'm gonna go S. I can see an argument for A+. I think Scylla is a lot better than a lot of these other mages. She does a lot of damage. Her aspect is surprisingly good. I don't think her aspect is nearly as good, and I probably put her below if you're talking about her aspect, but her regular form is really good. Super safe with her 3. Synergizes well with a lot of items. You can go like Chronos, Poly, whatever. Doom Orb and shit like that, and I think Scylla is very good with that. So safe, does a lot of damage, has a lot of outplay potential with her root and stuff like that. She's just a better mage than like your other mages like Ra or Cuckoo, in my opinion. It does a lot of damage, especially late game. But that is it. Usually you want to see like a wide variety here, which you kind of do. A lot in average, a lot in above average, a decent amount in S. The last god here is going to be Cupid, and I'm probably going to put him right here because Cupid's not here for some reason. Whatever. Cupid, I think, is still going to be an S tier pick. Yeah, I think I almost kind of want to put him in A+, but I'm going to keep him in S. I played him still a couple times recently, and he's still very good. I don't think he's as good as he once was, which makes me feel like I should put him in A+, but he's still like your top ADC. He does everything you want. I mean, his ult does a large circle and does a lot of damage. On top of that, he's got a really solid getaway. He has a lot of other items that synergize now, like Vital Amplifier. His 2 now heals himself. I believe if somebody else picks it up, there's something new that they added with that in his 2. But Cupid's still very, very good. Does a lot of damage. Does everything you want. So I'm gonna leave him right here in S tier. And that is your open beta 15 tier list. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the open beta 10 tier list as I usually always do, and we're going to compare and contrast with that, and then we'll go ahead and close out the video. All right, here we go. We got on the left, we got our current tier list. Oops. And on the right, we have our open beta 10 tier list, and you can see a decent amount. So a lot of the times, a lot of these changes will end up being at the 2 opposite ends, it feels like. A little bit of changes happen here, but overall, it's like the top picks change a little bit. And it's usually going to be a gradual change. I don't expect like huge changes, which is why I do these like every so amount of patches, just to let things sort of change instead of doing them each patch. So we got Apollo, which is up here, no longer there. Now it's going to be Aphrodite and Sobek. And like I said, a lot of items really just kind of changed them. Aphrodite was always a fucking incredible pick though. Anyways, Apollo's would change down to S. Gods like Bari, Medusa, Cab, Agni Baron have sort of stayed here. Some new additions though. We got like an Ares. We got Apollo, that just changed. Amaterasu, obviously with her new items. I think she's super good right now. Uller, Hercules, Merlin, Odin back up in S, Hoi Yi, and Scylla at S. I think these are going to be your top picks. A lot of changes up here. Some gods in here that change. Oh, Cupid's right here as well. I edited it in after. Anyways, Cupid's still there. Gods like Mordred, Achilles sort of dropped a little bit. I don't think they're nearly as good. They're still very good though. A lot of these have been the same. We got Ganesh here and Hunbats actually. So pretty new changes here. Thor's up here as well. Bellona's up here. Like I said earlier, Bellona and Alma sort of follow similarly when they go up. Alma and Bellona use the new items like Vital Amplifier and regress striders really well. Hunbats I was actually wrong about. I felt like he wasn't nearly as good, but his ult and his 2 still do pretty good. Ganesh had been nerfed a lot, but still does a lot. So I think he's above average here. And then some small changes up here, like Mercury's here now. I think with this tank build, he's pretty okay, enough to be average. And then Pele's a little bit better. Same with Mulan, but most of these changes are going to be pretty much the same. So there it is. We're gonna go ahead and go back to the real tier list here. All right, here you go. Here is the tier list if you want a screenshot or whatever. Take a look at it. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be doing these every so often. I think it was like 5 patches from open beta 10 to open beta 15. So I'm expecting anywhere between like 4 or 5 more patches for me to go into another tier list, unless, you know, things change quicker, sooner, or new things are added. Like I said, I base these off of what new things are added or changed. So if you like these videos, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. You hate it, you love it, you know, you want to support me, go ahead, say it down in the comment section down below. But I think that's basically it. I got Discord in the description down below if you want to join. Twitch in the description down below. I go live every Friday through Sunday, usually in the evening time if you want to come and hang out. Memberships are open for 99 a month and $2.99 a month if you so desire, but obviously not necessary, but much appreciated. Almost forgot my line there. But I think that's basically everything that I have for you. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching.